This show is meant to prepare everyday students from kindergarten all the way to high school and beyond on how they can be widely successful in their education and life journeys.
So welcome everyone, this is Rob Cabrera, shooting live from Giza in Cairo by the pyramids. We have a very special guest today. What's your name?
My name is Gamal Abu Zaid.
Gamal, welcome to the show. And today's show is something very special. It's about getting paid to travel. And so there is a myth out there that when it comes to traveling abroad, you need to save a lot of money, you need to plan a lot of it. And if you want to travel in style, it's super expensive. And while I do know a couple that spent $80,000 for 1 week to see animals in the Great Migration in Kenya, that is rarely the case. Traveling in class does not have to be this expensive. And today we're going to show you how.
Hey Rob, happy to be in this show. What you're going to talk about today, just give me a brief idea and light my mind.
Yeah, Gamal, like when I first met you, right, that night at the restaurant, you mentioned how like you're interested in traveling, but you don't know how, right? You have a business to run here, you have family obligations. So today's show answers that question. It talks about different options that you can travel as early as primary school, middle school, high school, college, and for professional people. And so if you are out there and you're like Gamal, and you are busy or you don't have money or you're a student and you want to see the world, today's show will open your eyes on the many different ways you can, one, either get the travel paid for, or two, actually get paid to travel, right? And so that's what we're going to talk about. And so this is based on my experience where as a working professional, I've been to 15 countries. So I'm going to talk about different trips. When I was in school, I got a chance to get paid through a scholarship to study in Turkey, not too far from here. And when I was younger, I would do a whole bunch of field trips.
But tell me, why should I care about traveling abroad and leave my obligation and go discovering the world? Tell me, enlighten my mind.
Good, that's a good question, right? When you're at a place as beautiful, as amazing as the pyramids and in Egypt, right, why bother to leave your environment? And traveling, while it is costly and it does take away from obligations, it has several sort of benefits. It has personal benefits, professional benefits, spiritual benefits, right? Many people today, for example, especially young people, feel like the best use of money is to buy things. I have had the opportunity to meet several billionaires in the US, and all of them say the best use of money is to buy time with the family. And the best use of that time is to make memories, good memories.
That is very good, yeah.
And what better way to make memories than to travel, right? So that's at the end, when you and I are old, 89 years old, inshallah, we are not gonna remember the cars or the houses. We're gonna remember the beautiful memories.
Yeah.
So that's the personal benefit of traveling.
Yeah, this is very, very common benefit, and it's also an attractive benefit, to build memories with the family in different places. This is something that encourage any person to go abroad. I'm sure with you, and I agree with you on this statement.
Absolutely. And of course, professionally, the world is more and more globalized. And so to get ahead in life, either as a student or as a professional, you have to be able to travel and see people. And there are many opportunities we'll discuss on how to do that.
Tell me more about the details on how does it work. I need to know to go, in the details and cross it, and tell me how does it work.
Yeah. So since the show is about K through 12, kindergarten to 12th grade, we're gonna start with the young kids.
Yeah.
Right. From the young age, there are many opportunities children have to either volunteer to go work on a farm with animals. They can go there for a few hours. They can, in the US, there are many city zoos. They can go to the zoo to see animals. That's fun.
That's good.
And when I went to see the pyramids of Giza, the gate was full of many small children that had come in from buses from all over Egypt to see the pyramids.
And also from all over the world, some elementary schools and primary schools, they are getting this child and kindergarten students to see the Egyptian history. Because as I've mentioned to you, the Egyptian history was the first history that we know humankind had invented. So they are coming here to see the secrets and the magnificent pyramids, to learn more about the history and about the formation of the civilization around the world. You know.
Very
So,
true.
yeah,
And you are never too young to come and sort of study about those
yeah,
things.
Absolutely.
When you get older, you get to secondary school, as they call it here, or you get to high school, there are even more opportunities. You can be part of sports teams where you can travel. Let's say a secondary school here in Cairo can go play soccer with a school in Sharm el Sheikh, which is 6 hours driving. Is that right? 6 hours?
Yeah, 6 hours.
6 hours driving on the Red Sea. You can be part of a debate team. You can be part of a choir. So you do sports and activities, and it allows you to travel.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then when you get to college, the world is even bigger. One of the things I forgot to mention, in high school, universities also sometimes have programs where they pay for students to come and visit the college campus so that the students can sort of be able to apply when they go there. So that's high school. In college, nearly every university has a study abroad program. I think here they call it Erasmus. In the US, it's study abroad. So for example, my school had 60 options, 60 countries.
60, yeah, that's good.
But I was a rebel. I didn't like any of them. So instead, I picked a special one. I went to Turkey and I was able to apply for a scholarship to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's high school. As a professional, of course, that's what everyone cares about. That's where you and I are.
Yeah, that
And-
sounds good. Yeah.
And some of the things I told you was, look, you don't have to be like crazy like me to go for like 6 weeks. You start small. You start at a conference, half a day, maybe a few hours. Eventually you go to like a conference at the Red Sea for 1 day. Eventually you go for 3 days. But the key is to be able to find conferences that are related to your profession.
Yeah.
So either your job pays for it or the conference pays for it. And then that's how you sort of build your network.
Yeah, sounds good. You know, it also makes people connected from other the world, and also make the people to see, discover new cultures and new, minds and new ideas. Sounds very great. As you have mentioned, some question come in my mind about the examples you can give to me about how to try, to get paid to travel, or how to get the, an opportunities to make the travel easy, or even better. Just tell me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you sort of 4 examples. One from high school when I was in secondary school. Another one from my first client when I was working. Then another one when I was in Turkey. I'll tell you how I did that. And the last one why I'm here with you today.
Yeah,
right?
But cool. Yeah.
So in high school, in the US and also I'm sure other parts of the world, when you are on vacation, you can take part of programs. Typically, universities have programs, whether it's a weekend, a week long, where students can come and spend time on campus. So when I was in the 10th grade in the US, there was an organization in my city that used to pay for students to go and study at a college campus for 4 to 6 weeks. So I applied. Of course, it was expensive, but these organizations have money from donors to be able to do that. So I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, which is in the South. I got a chance when I was 16 years old to spend 6 weeks in New Hampshire, which was a completely new, different experience. So that's the high school version. The college version, as I mentioned, where I went, was a nice school. They had 60 programs. I didn't like any of the 60. It was Paris, Tokyo, those modern flashlights. I wanted an ancient culture. So I went to the oldest city in the Quran, in the Bible. I wanted to go to Constantinople, Byzantine, Istanbul. So how did I do it? I convinced my advisor to talk to a friend of his he knew in Turkey to send me an invitation letter. He was a professor at a school in Turkey. I used that invitation letter to apply for a scholarship. I got something like $10,000. So that's what I used to study abroad in Turkey. And I realized actually that Istanbul is the only city that's both in Europe and Asia. So if you cross the bridge, you go to the European side, You can get cheap flights
Yeah,
to
cheap
go to
flights,
Europe.
Yeah, this is the idea about being in Turkey is cost effective and probably.
Yeah.
But you know, the Egyptian civilization is older than Turkey and the Istanbul civilization.
I meant in the scriptures, right? The
but-
major city.
But it's also, you know, the Turkey because as you said, it's close to Europe and stuff. So you're gonna find the flights are cheap and also the food culture in Turkey.
Food is very magnificent.
Yeah,
Guys,
fish
I
kebab.
mean, like, it's amazing. Everybody is like a king there,
Yeah,
right?
so it was a good choice for you to go to Turkey.
Yeah. So
But-
that was in college. As a working professional, if you really wanna do things abroad, like I wanted to do, you try and work with either organizations that work abroad, like international organizations like USAID. They have branches in 90 countries. The UN. Or if you're an entrepreneur like me, you find clients either abroad
Yeah.
or the person's abroad. So one of my earliest clients was a US government agency that operated in 30 countries.
Good.
So through that job, I was like 24, 25. I got a chance to travel to 9 countries. It was paid for,
Sounds great.
and they also paid me,
Wow, man.
right?
There's a lot of good secrets to share it with the audience, you know.
Ex-
It's very beautiful, you know, guys, to know something like this, you know, to get these secrets, to go travel, you know, for an effective cause. This is great, man.
Yeah. And the last, of course, most amazing example is what brought me here to the greatest civilization of them all,
Yeah.
in front of the great pharaohs, Egypt. How did I get here? And it's a similar experience. And so this whole year I've been doing a lot of small speaking engagements. I started off with podcasts last year. People had my podcast. They invited me to speak in person. So finally in September, I got an invitation to speak in Samoa in the Pacific by a large organization. And they liked my talk so much, they actually invited me to come to COP27. COP27 is the annual climate conference, the biggest climate conference. This year was hosted here in Egypt in Sharm el Sheikh, which is by the Red Sea. That same organization paid my way to come here to Sharm el Sheikh, and they also gave me a stipend. And so they paid my way and paid for me to be here. And that's how I had the good fortune of meeting my good brother.
Yeah, the
Gamel.
pleasure was ours, really. The pleasure was ours meeting you. We are a good mind and have a good souls and ideas. We, you know, have a mutual benefits, you know, benefit from each other. And really are a good friend to meet here. I was, you know, pleased and pleasure to meet someone like you and have the opportunity to do so. Also, I'm proud that you go because, as you already said to me, you have to surround yourself by people that have great minds and really, you know, will get you passionate by this work. And also, you know, Egypt have been supported, you know, the events and the youth events also we make it every year. So to get the people from different worlds to you know the culture of every you know country, and also they have the most important issue to know the kindness of every society. You know, all the people are good. So people don't have the chance to know each other very well. So such conferences Egypt have been focused on is make the people and the youth people, you know, the generation that will go and lead the world, you know, to get connected together, you know, and know the kindness of every person and every society. And this is that we elect and we don't have nowadays. So, you know, Egypt started to make this conferences to get people get together. And I really love the idea about knowing, you know, the culture of every society and the kindness of the people of every society. Always see that in the news on TV, but I didn't get to know the people themselves, the souls of the people, and get touched, you know, by the, you know, as you see, the empathy and you know, and the kindness of the people. So really, I supported this idea, and also it's very good that I met you from this, you know, conferences and just, you know,
My brother.
from
All right.
the Egyptian shake hand, you know, if
Yes.
you have good friend, you have to, you know.
That's how you shake hands here.
In
They
Egypt.
do it right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you for sort of that good background. And as I mentioned, you are a special guest today. So I would like for you to sort of speak about your background and sort of some of the wonderful things you offer for people that are fortunate enough to be able to come here to visit this place.
As you know, my family work here in the tourism from about 60 to 70 years ago. we were providing the huge companies the services of traveling and the cruises in the Nile to see the Aswan and Luxor and to see the most significant historical sites, and also we have our restaurants and our gift shop, the papyrus. The papyrus was very important from Egyptian civilizations. They saved their history till now on the papyrus, and also it's a very unique plant. You can get the paper from a plant that's eco-friendly and it's washable also. It's very fantastic plant.
Wait, pause. Guys, did you hear that? So there are three important things you just mentioned. These guys have the greatest papyrus gift shop in the world.
Yeah.
And so if you come here, you gotta check it out. I was there when I first met this guy. This place had like 5 buses, big tour buses in front of it.
Yeah.
People were so crowded that when we tried to go in, it was like going to a VIP club in New York. You have to know someone to shake hands. And so that's number one. Number two, he just told me something new. I did not know you could wash papyrus.
It's washable,
right?
and come back again without adding any chemical stuff. And it's very eco-friendly.
Yeah.
And it helps the environment, and also it lasts forever. If you put something on papyrus and just cover it so good, it lasts forever and saves all your memories, history, secrets, whatever you want to put it in. So as I told you, it was holy for the Egyptians. They put and saved their arts and their sciences and their secrets on papyrus. This is why it's one of the most important parts in the Egyptian civilization and Egyptian tours. Also I also have you visited my restaurant here.
Yeah, I was going to talk about food.
Yeah.
I'm skinny, but I like to eat.
Yeah.
I eat every 2 hours. So if people leave the papyrus shop and they're hungry, what solution do you have for that?
They will come and try the most delicious Egyptian heritage food. It's the food that has been used and eaten from long time ago, from the pharaonic age, till now. We try also together, the man who is making the tour here, to live every experience, like the Egyptian have lived in. And also you go to the night cruises and you see the Nile, and the Nile and the water of the Nile, it was also very holy, that the Egyptians say when you take a drink from the Egyptian water, you're now being holy and you'll be immortal. This is something serious and the myth that
Ladies, you hear that? If you want to stay young forever, you gotta come and take the cruise, right? Drink the elixir, and you'll be young forever.
Yeah.
Good. So there's a new development coming, right?
Yeah.
Egypt is building the newest and probably the greatest museum in the history
biggest
of museum
in the world.
Yes.
It contained, about 1/3 of the statues and the historical stuff all over the world. It's going to be massive, and a lot of development happening here in Egypt that make it a very good destination. You have to have your travel and to experience a very, very special trip you will never forget, and you're gonna have a good memory and a good stuff to tell it to your grandchildren, when you go old, and you're gonna live the spirit of the streets, and you're gonna have the kindness. But the most important issue, to choose the right people that arrange this stuff for you, or to advise you at least, when you come here to Egypt. Because as I said, it's a market and there is a competition here, so you choose your travel agent wisely. Even if you want to go through it freely and move freely, also you have this advice, just choose the people to give you the advice wisely. This is the idea, so enjoy it well.
Absolutely. So the museum, we saw the museum. Everyone is excited to come.
Yeah.
People are buying tickets now.
Yeah.
But tell us, right in front of the museum is a train station, right?
Yeah.
A very sort of, think of it as the central metro train station in New York.
Yeah.
But right next to the train station, overlooking the museum.
Yeah.
What's there?
Yeah, I have, my building here is in the prime location that will never be repeated again. And I'm gonna make, a good restaurant in the top of this roof. It's have the view of the pyramids here and the view also of the Grand Egyptian Museum inside of it. And guys, after they finish the metro station, I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna be a pleasure to meet you there in this restaurant and this cafe. We're gonna have the best Egyptian food with a very, very intelligent and the prime location you will never had in any place in Egypt, just here,
Hey, you had it here first. The greatest museum is gonna open, and this guy has prime real estate right in front of the museum. where it's so close, you can see inside the museum from his rooftop. I've been to this location. This place is gonna be selling for $1,000 a night, but because of my man here, you're welcome to come in. Just come through me and I'll bring you to my brother.
Absolutely.
So guys, that's our show today. So some concluding thoughts I wanted to offer you, right? We started out by thinking that in order to travel, you need money, you need a lot of time. We just showed you the different options you can be able to travel, all the way from elementary school by being part of field trips, high school being part of sports activities and teams, college studying abroad or applying for scholarships, as a professional being part of professional working organizations. And my biggest tip for people is I have been to over 33 countries.
Wow.
And in all those countries, I have a local friend. So just like Gamal here, this place, because of crop, was filled. It was sold out 6 months ago, right? And people are paying $700 a night for Airbnbs without Wi-Fi. This guy got me this prime location. You can see behind us the pyramid in 24 hours for a price that is 80% cheaper than anything else around here.
Yeah.
So always try and meet local people, because local people,
The right local people, as I told you.
the right ones, not everybody, right?
Yeah, to be exactly with you, I came and I thought like he's a guest. He's one of from my family, and he's in trouble. I have to give him assistance. So about 24 hours I get him this, and I see this prime location, and just to make him feel good and also make me feel good. So as he said, you have to choose the exact local friend and exact local guide to guide you good in Egypt.
I mean, guys, this guy here called over 40 hotels just to get me this place, right? So that, I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much for coming on this show.
The pleasure is ours,
Thank you
really.
for hosting me.
Yeah, and just
and
thanks the destiny that it's had the chance to meet each other, and as you see the kindness of the Egyptian people here and see the good in the society, this makes me feel good, man.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you could come to the show to share with my people, so you now know what it's like. So I encourage you. I hope now you're more encouraged to visit. Make your #1 destination Egypt. You get to meet Gamal. He has a lot of things to offer. So that's our show today. But don't forget, join us next week as we talk about the next episode. The next episode is going to be about how to deal with toddlers that are having tantrums. We know that here at the show we care a lot about our kids and their future, but sometimes when they are upset, they are impossible to handle. So next week, my co-host, who has 30 years of experience teaching kindergarten, is going to give you some awesome tips on how to get that toddler to calm down. This is Robert Cabrera, shooting live from the pyramids, and with the amazing Pyramidian. People from the pyramid area are called the Pyramidians, and this is the fabulous Pyramidians. Thank you.
Goodbye.